I need documentation that I once was a buxom beauty.
I was buxom.
My boobs were big. I was buxom. I have loved to perform since I was a teeny tiny little child. I used to make my parents and my grandmother, when we would visit her in the summertime, watch me do a play. And I have no idea what these plays were about, but they were so good in my child mind. And I would line up my stuffed animals and they would also have to watch. And then I would also enlist my brother and cousins into acting with me. And my dad once also gave me one of those big VHS cameras that you put on your shoulder. That was my first video camera. And I would set it up in my room and I would give the weather. And that was how I first fell in love with performing. I just always loved to do it. Okay, so this is not necessarily from the early days of me performing, but it was still probably, I don't know, like 8 years ago or so. So it was a while ago. And it was the first time that I took a class in film acting. Because previous to that, I had only ever really acted for stage and been trained to act for stage. And I didn't think I would like film. I really liked acting on stage and the immediate feedback that you get from an audience, from applause, obviously, to laughter and silence and pause and awe. The interaction that you get from playing with an audience there to witness and be a part of the show. And it was like acting for commercials 101 or something. And I remember at the end of this first class feeling the same elation that I got from ending a show on the stage. And in that moment I realized, oh, it's not the stage necessarily that brings me alive. It's the storytelling, it's the playing, it's the acting of it all that brings me alive. And I like to do it in multiple mediums. My first inclination is to say someone who's a little evil, because I don't know, I just feel like there's a lot more sometimes to play with when you are portraying someone who is the villain. But I think even going deeper than that, I love to play characters that just have a really nice journey. And I say journey as opposed to arc because there's so many different ways of storytelling and they don't all go like this. A lot of them are like, woo! Especially if you're portraying a character for a long time, right? Like I think of one of my favorite characters ever in a thing is Carol from The Walking Dead, because the way that she starts out is this meek little mouse of a woman who is abused and terrified of her abuser, who loses her child. Spoiler alert, the show came out like 15 years ago, get with it. But she becomes this badass warrior soldier of a woman, and who like takes no shit from anybody and is kind of a killing machine, but cares so deeply and loves so deeply at the same time. Watching her journey is absolutely incredible, and I want to portray characters who portray. Did I say portray? I want to portray characters who have a journey, who change. When I was going to college, right before my freshman year of college, my dad gave me a piece of advice that I continue to give to other people, especially people who are in that age of getting out of high school and into college. And it was, make friends long before you need them. And I think this project is a perfect example of that, because going into the arts, going into music at Berklee, the first people that someone is going to reach out to when they have a creative project, whether it's like something like in college, for instance, if it's a class that I'm like, oh, I'm writing this thing and I need a singer for it, it's gonna be their friends. Those are the first people that you're going to reach out to. It's going to be the people that you know. Not to say that you need to make friends in order to gain things from them. No. What my dad was saying with that advice was to make and foster real connections with people, because you never know what it can lead to. Aside from a beautiful friendship and like platonic relationship, possibly for life. But Jay and I became friends years ago when we were both working at the Community Music Center in Boston. And Jay has done art for me. I've done art for Jay. We're doing art together again. And this is because we are in each other's circles. These are the people that we reach out to when we have opportunities, when we have jobs, when we have gigs to give out to people. We want to help the people that we care about first. And so that has been, I think, one of the greatest pieces of advice, was make friends long before you meet them. I hope that in the coming years, I am able to continue to and expand on supporting myself as an artist and with my art. I hope that I am able to produce more of my own original art. I hope that I am able to help friends produce their own original art. I love being part of the creation of something, and so I love being in the process of creating a new story, not just being a part of a story that is already told or has been told many times, but being able to be at the start of a project and see it blossom into something that at this point may be unimaginable. I love being part of a fantasy world that is written by and portrayed by mostly people of color. We don't get to see that very often. I think that it's so beautiful to be able to tell a story that has Black characters and other characters of color that are not like going through turmoil because they're Black, because they're brown, right? That actually you can just go on a hero's journey because you're a human being, and all human beings are the stars of their own hero's journey. And I also am so excited to be a part of this project because one of my very, very, very good friends wrote this, and he's amazing. And this is one of those things I was just talking about that I think is going to expand and blossom into something so unbelievably incredible. Something that right now is unimaginable. And when we see how it blossoms, we're all gonna be like, it's gonna be great.